This is the Fantasy Roadshow.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Fantasy Roadshow. As always, we are your hosts. My name is Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at fantasy_trucker. And I'm accompanied by Mike Kulz. You can find him on Twitter at Kulz_sports. Mike, how the hell are you today?
I'm good. It's pretty toasty here in Austin, Texas. It's like 102 maybe. But I love
over 100?
Over 100. I love the heat, so I'm all good. Feels like 108. It's 101 feels like 108.
That is brutal.
Yeah, so indoors, but enjoying it. And how are you? Where are you at? Where's the trucker at? Tell the people.
The Fantasy Trucker is in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm over here by the harbor.
You're in Boston? You're in Southie?
Southie, yeah. I'm on the south side of Boston right now in the truck, as you can see. Little quick little
Nice.
horn here. But yeah, man, I'm on the road. I got a delivery tomorrow morning in Boston. I found a nice little spot to camp out. And, I went inside. I was talking to a couple of locals, and I was like, hey, I'm from Chicago. Never been to Boston before. And I want to get some lobster while I'm in Boston. Where the hell do I go? And they told me one place, Luke's Lobster.
Luke's Lobster.
Luke's Lobsters, right down the street.
Is there
You get a lobster roll. So what I got here, I'm going to show the camera here. Looks delicious. I can't wait. This right here is Luke's Trio. I'm going to show the camera. Try to get a good angle of it.
Oh, man, I'm so jealous. Oh,
that right there.
Some shrimp, some lobster, and some crab.
Absolutely. It's the Luke's Trio. You got a lobster roll, you got a crab roll, and you got a shrimp roll.
Yeah, you got.
So I'm gonna give a live review on the pod.
Give us a 1-bite review of each.
Oh, 1 bite. Everybody knows the rules. I'm gonna start with the crab. I'm gonna end with the lobster.
The lobster.
Wow. Now, I'm not normally a seafood kind of guy, but I do enjoy some seafood. And this right here, that crab, some of the best crab I've ever had. They got the seasoning on it. It's called Luke's Signature Seasoning. Got a little zestiness to it. A spicy honey butter with the roll. Just delicious.
Yeah, that looks incredible.
The shrimp roll is next.
Shrimp. Caught in the harbor.
Wow. That crab roll was good, but that shrimp roll is on another level.
Oh, big juicy shrimp. Crunchy.
No, little tiny little baby shrimps.
Baby shrimps.
Little baby shrimps.
Oh, little baby shrimps.
Yeah, but the same seasoning, same butter. Very similar sandwiches here between the lobster, the crab, and the shrimp. But
yeah,
you get a nice little consistency of each. The crab is real fine and shredded. Lobster's chunks and little tiny shrimps. And these are my favorite kind of shrimp.
Why is the shrimp better? Why is the shrimp better?
Well, it's just a better flavor for me. I don't know. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
But the consistency is different too. So you got the little tiny shrimps. For some reason, I'm not a big fan of the big shrimps. The big jumbo shrimps.
Jumbos?
Oh, no, man. I'm not a big fan of the jumbo shrimps. I like the little tiny little shrimps. I don't know why. It's just me.
They even started calling me Boston George.
And without further ado, I'm going to dive into the lobster roll, the main event.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Every single one of these is just delicious. That lobster is the best, though. It just is,
lobster.
Man. This lobster, I don't know what it is. Maybe we just don't get good lobster in Chicago, or maybe this is just fresh caught lobster from the harbor.
The harbor.
The harbor.
The fucking harbor, dude.
Yeah. Wow. That is just Luke's Lobster. If you're ever in Boston, got to check it out. Get the Luke's Trio. I did get a little side of some clam chowder over here and some
You got some fucking chowder, dude?
fucking chowder. And
I love it.
I got some lobster bisque as well. So
Oh man,
I'm gonna save those. I'm not really diving in right now. But those I may do a little review of some nice
chowder.
Boston soups. Yeah. So but yeah, I'm gonna continue eating here, and then we will be diving in. Mike, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, we're going to talk Dynasty rankings. Unfortunately, I don't know that there's going to be any Patriots in this episode. Hopkins has not yet signed, and, that's probably their only shot, having someone in the top 20, probably top 30, maybe top 40. I don't know. I gotta take a look. Got to look at the rankings. But
how low you got Juju? Jesus. Come on.
I got Juju at 45.
I think I'm a little higher.
That's
on
redraft.
Juju
That's redraft.
Oh,
that's redraft.
Okay. Yeah, we have been doing a lot of best ball drafts lately, so we're dialing in our redraft rankings.
Yeah.
Those are, the future episodes will be coming out in a couple weeks here.
Yeah, getting them dialed. I got Juju all the way down at 53. He's fucking washed.
Wow.
He's washed.
Wow.
All right, we'll eat and we'll get back into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Buckle up.
Buckle up, baby. We're live from the harbor.
Man, that food was good. Delicious. All right. So anyway, we're getting into the Dynasty wide receiver rankings today. Talking 11 through 20 in that range.
Yeah.
All right. So in that range, Mike, we talked about all the way down to about Devonta Smith, Tyreek Hill. That was the range where we left off at. We talked about Stephon Diggs. My 11 through 15 right here is Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, and Drake London. Your 11 through 15. You want to go ahead and spit them off?
Yeah, I got Diggs, London, Kupp, Devonta Adams, DK Metcalf.
Okay, so we got some similarities there. I believe you have Devonta Adams in your top 15. I do not. You got Drake London a little bit higher as you're higher on. I have T. Higgins. Now, Mike, I'm just noticing something that you probably should make some adjustments on. But I don't know if you have T. Higgins anywhere in your lineup here.
Okay.
Just throwing it out there. Have you make some adjustments real quick. If you need to add him in this range, I would suggest doing so. But the first guy I'm going to talk about is my little Cooper Kupp. And I apologize ahead of time if I have a little Boston accent as I'm talking through this episode. I am in Boston, so I see fitting. Now, Cooper Kupp.
They even started calling me Boston George.
I don't think I can get enough of that, Mike. I'm sorry. All right. So anyway, we're gonna dive in. We're gonna stop fucking around too much. All right.
Now.
All right. So anyway, we're talking Cooper Kupp. Now, in Dynasty rankings, I just want to make a little preface here. There's different strategies in Dynasty rankings. Okay. You trying to win now? You build for the future. Whatever your strategy is the approach you should take when considering ranking players. Cooper Kupp is a target for people trying to win now. The guy's 30 years old, although he does have 4 years left on his contract, okay? So there's some stability there.
Yeah, so I want to jump in. So I disagree in that the rankings are the rankings, but how you're going to draft or value players based on those rankings changes, right? Like, depending on what team you're looking at, as you said, there may be win now players that you'd, put put Cooper Kupp ahead of Drake London. So for example, like
that's a great example.
Yeah. So for example, like Drake London is at my 12 12 overall dynasty ranked wide receiver, and I have Cooper Kupp at 13, Devonta Adams at 14. But if I was drafting, I had Derrick Henry, I had Travis Kelce, I had guys like that on my team. And I was going to try to ride them to a championship instead of, sell to a contender, then I'm going to look at a Kupp or a Devontae, higher on that specific league. Yeah. But
you're going to bump
rankings are the rankings. Period.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Yes. Yeah. I see what you're saying. We have a general
wanted to
rankings.
Clarify. Yeah. Just to clarify that for the listeners, like, I think that's important to note, but,
yeah. Absolutely.
Go on with Cooper Kupp. That's your boy. It's always been your boy. You were on him early on, maybe even his rookie year, or maybe
I think it was his rookie year. Actually, I can't remember exactly what year that was, but I ended up scooping him up off the waiver wire halfway through the season. I'm like, oh, this guy's getting some targets. He's being active in the offense. Let me take a chance on this guy.
Paid out.
Man, that was one of the best things I could have done. He helped me win a lot of games in fantasy football. A lot of games, but it's no secret how good Cooper Kupp is. I don't need to be dropping a bunch of stats that show you how good he is, but last year his season got cut short with a high ankle sprain about mid-November, and we all saw what he did in 2021. 191 targets, 16 touchdowns, almost 2,000 yards. He was like 53 yards short of a 2,000-yard season. But this offense, we don't project to be that good, obviously, right? Matthew Stafford's aging. Who knows if he can get through the whole season? But he should be hyper targeted on that team. I don't see anybody really competing for targets over there. He's gonna be in the upper echelon, and if he's got 4 years left on his contract, we'll see how he comes back off this high ankle sprain. I don't know, Mike. How do you feel about him?
Yeah, I think between him and Stafford, showing that they're healthy and kind of regain some of that Super Bowl magic, really, since they've been Rams together, they need to kind of do it together. So, I think that's the risk there. But he's still, one would think he is still the playmaker that he always has been. It's a little concerning that Higbee is probably their most stable number 2 option. I mean, Van Jefferson, I think, is going to be the guy he was supposed to the guy he was supposed to be last year, maybe. But I mean, Cooper Kupp is a ball hawk, and he should be doing the same this year. Yeah,
absolutely. Now in the 12 spot, I have Cooper Kupp. You have Drake London. I know you just mentioned about him before. Drake London is one of the youngest wide receivers. I mean, what's your gauge on it? How high on Drake London are you this year and moving forward in Dynasty?
Yeah, I'm really high on London and the Falcons really as a whole, especially from a fantasy perspective. But I think the Falcons have a good shot to win the division this year. Drake London is an outstanding talent.
Oh, yeah.
So, he's in that George Pickens. He's another guy I'm pretty high on. I have him at 19. We'll talk about him later. But in terms of just pure athleticism from the wide receiver position, I mean, you have those two. You have Garrett Wilson, and they're all, in my mind, Garrett Wilson may be a little bit more athletic than the other two, but I'd say 1A, and then those two are 1B in terms of like long catch radius is insane, going up and getting the ball against anyone else. So yeah, I mean, London is gonna. Let me pull up his stats right now. I mean, his rookie year, he was targeted 117 times, caught 72 balls, 866 and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah,
and with Mariota at quarterback, a little bit of Ritter, who is not good.
He finished. Well, he finished at 31 last year.
Yeah.
So, what I want to highlight is his final 5 games where he played with Ritter, because that's the situation he's moving into now and into the future. We'll see. But with Ritter, over the last final 5 games, he averaged 6.2 receptions for 85.6 yards. So that's intriguing there. He had a massive target share last year at 29.3. Like that is, you don't see that very often. It's like Devontae Adams and Andrew Hopkins level of target share. But Arthur Smith in that Atlanta offense is a run first offense. They showed that last year, but I still think even though they have drafted Bijan, they're still going to be utilizing Drake London and Kyle Pitts in the passing game. And I see them having a good year. Definitely.
Yeah, I like London long term. I love them. I think they're going to have to figure out, who that is going to be at quarterback. If it doesn't work out with Ritter, it very well could be one of those situations where they win a couple games, so Ritter's not playing well, and they look to, certainly they have Heineke, but they look to potentially make a move and grab is Trey Lance available? Is Ryan Tannehill available? If, Levis or who knows? I mean, they're not going to move on from Tannehill. I was thinking that was potentially an option, but like Levis is not. He's not going to be ready, and they're already saying that Malik Willis is outplaying him in camp. So like that's Tannehill's team. I mean, but like maybe a Trey Lance or a Brock Purdy. They're gonna try to figure something quickly if they're contending and Ritter's not playing well. But hopefully Ritter makes the jump, man. He has all the tools. He is an athletic guy, it seems like, but certainly hasn't seemed to produce yet, or a full off season with all his guys that can go a long way. So we'll see.
Yeah, I did want to highlight. You want to target second year receivers. They usually great receivers usually break out in their second year, and Drake London is a breakout candidate. So keep him on your radar and expect a big season, and him to catapult himself into the upper tier.
Yep. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's pivot over to the Cincinnati Bengals number 2 receiver, T. Higgins. I have T. Higgins at 13. You have him down at 15.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I mean, T. Higgins, to be part of that Bengals offense is just exciting. To have a piece in that offense, whether it be Jamar Chase or T. Higgins, you just got to feel great about your team if you have them on there. T. Higgins is young. Yeah, absolutely, for the future. T. Higgins is 24 years old. He's awaiting a new contract, but everything we've heard from the Bengals team, they're going to sign him, right? I mean, do you expect so, right, Mike?
Yes, Higgins is going to get signed. It's going to be Burrow, Chase, and Higgins long term.
Yeah, absolutely. He finished as the wide receiver 18 last year. I could see him getting in the top 15 this year. He has serious injury upside, man. If anything happens to Jamar Chase, whether it be small or big, T. Higgins immediately becomes a top 10 guy. His first 3 seasons, at least 100 targets, 900 yards, and 6 touchdowns in each of his first 3 seasons. Like, that's consistency. That's just great production. So he's in that little pocket of elite number 2 wide receivers on the team with him, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Waddle. So I feel like they're definitely in competition for being a top 12 guy every season that they play.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say about Higgins other than that he's with, one of the best quarterbacks. He's going to work his way into being one of the best of all time. He's generational quarterback. So he's going to be with that, with Burrow and Chase long term. And because of that, he's going to be in the mix every single year. So from a dynasty standpoint, and just getting a surefire guy for the next, 5 to 7 years. That's what Higgins is. And there's a ton of value there. Just having that stability. So that's why I have him at 15.
Okay. Hey, what's your gauge on Devontae Adams now? I mean, he guy's getting pretty old, isn't he?
He's 30 and he has been a top 5 wide receiver for the past 4 out of the last 5 seasons.
Top 3, no?
Top 3 for 4 out of the last 5 seasons. And he was injured the one season that he did not reach that top 3. So,
Yeah.
I just he's shown to be quarterback proof. He's shown to perform. You know, I mean, when I say he's shown to be quarterback proof, that's just last year. You know, Derek Carr and how bad that Raiders team was. But he still balled out and was top 3 wide receiver. I just think he's so talented, and you know, that's kind of why I have him there at 14. Is he's an elite level receiver until he stops being elite, and I'm comfortable to say the next 2 years, you know, he's going to be at a high level. So
I think it could be more than that. He's under contract he's under contract for the next 4 seasons. Like, I feel like I have him ranked too low. I feel like I need to move him up in my dynasty rankings if he's going to be around for another 4 more seasons. Like, the guy's just a perennial top tier guy, you know?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. That's why I have him up there, and you know, I may even be too low on him. It really just depends on how many seasons you get out of him at a high level. If he's top 5 again this year and trending in the same direction next year, it's like, you know,
how do you know? I feel like he should be ranked somewhere near 10, you know, at least. But what was it last year? His second highest touchdown total of his career was last year.
Yeah,
he's still being involved in the red zone. Did you hear about he was in the news early in this offseason? Do you remember that?
No, I don't recall what it was.
It was something about him not liking the scheme. Like, he came out and said, I'm not going. He said, I'm going to have to buy into this and try to be as optimistic as possible. It's not what I expected to happen, but it's something that's the reality now. So the media just kind of ran with that, and they're like, "Oh, Davante Adams is unhappy. You know, he really wanted Derek Carr to be the quarterback, and now he's out." And when Davante was then later on at another press conference talked about it, he's like, "Look, if you guys are just going to analyze every word that I say, like," and he said in quotes, "if you're that bored, go play Monopoly or some shit."
I love that. I didn't know he said that. That's a great quote. That is a great quote. That makes me like him more. Yeah.
Yeah, man. He's like, you know, I just don't think he's used to being like front and center with the media because of how much stability he's had over his career with Aaron Rodgers, you know. So now that there's some sort of adversity with Las Vegas, you know, I don't know. We'll see what happens with Garoppolo. I'm not sure. I mean, how do you see that whole situation working out? You think Garoppolo is going to be his guy all season?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do. I think he's good. I think he's always proven to be good enough to keep a starting job until, you know, that team gets to that Super Bowl level and just can't really make that jump. But he's good enough to, you know, win you games, and that's kind of what they're looking for in Vegas. People are going to come watch him regardless.
Yeah. All right, Mike, I want to bring up something I'm noticing on your rankings. Okay. I need to know what's going on here. You have DK Metcalf at 16 and Jackson Smith and Jigba at 17. What's going on there? What's your thought process?
I mean, like, they could be in that conversation of 2 top 10 wide receivers if they had a better quarterback situation. You know, I'm not. Okay. You know, I do not like Geno, but like DK is a physical freak.
You hate Geno. I just want to be clear about that. It's not that you don't like Geno. You hate Geno.
Yeah, he's horrible. But DK is physically just, you know, he's a physical anomaly. He's a freak. And then
yes, he is.
JSN, you know, he's same thing. Like, he's been hyped up. All you're hearing about in camp is that he plays like he looks like a veteran out there. And he seems to be a perfect complement to DK. It's just they don't have a quarterback. So, you know, I like both of them a lot. I put DK a little bit higher just because of his physical ability to dominate anyone on the field. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see what that ranking looks like going into next year, but I'm hesitant to put them any higher. And I would only put them lower than where I have them currently based on their quarterback. So, you know, I don't think Geno lasts another season. And then it's like, all right,
do you think he loses the job this year, or do you think he finishes out the season as the quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks?
I don't think they have another option. So, I mean,
Yeah. Well, who is it? Is Drew Lock still behind him?
yeah, I mean, like they don't have a long-term option. It's not like they have someone sitting there nipping at his heels. If they did,
Yeah.
he would not last this whole season. But because they don't, the Seahawks may just be like, meh, well, we'll figure it out now. I mean, they have all the weapons in the world in offense, but they just don't have the guy there to do anything with it. He's trash. So, that's
in my initial rankings, I have DK higher. I got him at 14, but I have JSN down at 22, and I'm gonna be moving him up my rankings here. My initial thoughts are with the subpar quarterback play and how many mouths to feed over there now with Lockett. Lockett's still going to be heavily involved. DK Metcalf is still going to be heavily involved. Like, I don't know. JSN just seems like he's going to be that slot guy for them. He's only going to play during 3 wide receiver sets. I mean, it's intriguing what he did in college, obviously, and the fact that Garrett Wilson came out and said that JSN was better than him and Olave when they were all together in that wide receiver room in Ohio State. Like, and both Wilson and Olave both got 1,000 yards their rookie season. So
yeah, if he's as good as they say he is, there's no fucking shot that he only plays in 3 wide receiver sets. Like,
I agree.
They're going to use him as much as they can. He's going to be one of their best weapons on offense. So
now let me ask you this.
I don't buy that for a second.
Let me ask you this: since Wilson and Olave both got 1,000 yards their rookie year, do you think Jason follows suit and reaches 1,000-yard mark this season?
Like, I want to say yes, but I just truly think Geno is dog shit. So,
okay, so Geno's the only thing holding you back.
Well, like, maybe he might still get it. I don't know. Like, if Geno just goes out there and slings it, regardless of how many interceptions he has, like, if Geno tries to sling the ball, he's going to lead the NFL in interceptions. I'll come out there, and that will be my prediction. If he plays all season long and he tries to throw the ball like an NFL quarterback, he will lead the NFL in interceptions.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, there it is. We'll put it on the ticker. Put it on the ticker.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I mean, that it makes sense. I understand where you're coming from on that. I just think, DK is a little bit more established. We've seen it before. That's why I have him ranked a little bit higher. But like I said, I think I'll be adjusting that. So the next guy we want to talk about here is Christian Watson. You got Christian Watson down at 18. I am looking for Christian Watson on my rankings here, and I don't see. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm right below you, 19. So we have him kind of back to back here in the bottom tier of what we're talking about in this group. I mean, I don't know. This Packers offense is really hard to gauge what it's going to look like this year. I just think they're going to be running the ball a lot, and Watson, he should be the number 1 target, right? But it just seems like Dobbs is getting all the offseason hype. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Watson should be the guy. He should be their number 1.
Should be, yeah.
I think he is and will be, I should say.
Okay.
Physically, he's the best player in that wide receiver room. He struggled a little bit with the drops last season. As long as he cleans those up, I mean, he should have a good year. I do think Jordan Love's a good quarterback and is going to surprise some people this year. So, yeah, I have Christian Watson at 18. I think that he has a pretty bright future to grow with a quarterback and kind of have a same situation as, not the same situation as the Bengals with Burrow and Chase, but he can grow with a young quarterback and they can kind of team up for the foreseeable future, which to me is some of the most value you can have as a wide receiver.
Christian Watson had probably the best stretch of remember last season? It was 4 weeks. He scored all 7 of his touchdowns in 4 weeks. That was all of his touchdowns for the whole season was in those 4 weeks. And all 4 of those games, he finished as a top 10 wide receiver. So I feel like that little glimpse, he showed you what he's capable of. And I mean, it's pure upside to me. That's, from where he's being drafted.
Yeah. You just want to see more catches. Like, can he handle getting, 7-8 catches a game? or,
Yeah.
you know, more than 4, which is kind of was a consistent number last year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's a lot to play out still in that offense, and I certainly think Dobbs, from a redraft standpoint of where they're both going, he's the better value because he's going so late. You heard a lot about Jaden Reed early on, but then that kind of cooled off when Dobbs got a lot of, his name in the conversation. So I don't know. Watson's still the number one guy for me there. I think Packers, are going to be able to support a couple fantasy relevant wide receivers this season. So I think that's probably going to be Watson and Dobbs. I hope it's Jaden Reed because I do like him and think that, Michigan State's known for having some good wide receivers. We'll see, man.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, moving on, I want to talk about someone that you're much higher on than I am, and honestly, probably another person I will be moving up in my rankings.
He's a dog.
Yeah, it's George Pickens, right? I mean,
do you
remember that video when he got drafted? Like one of the coolest videos of people being drafted, where he's just staring at the TV.
No, I don't know that I saw it. I gotta rewatch that.
You need to watch it. He has one of those ski masks on that people wear nowadays with the circle around the face, and then he's just standing there looking at the TV. He gets drafted. Everybody in the room goes nuts, and he just stays still, and he's just like stoic. Like
that's awesome. Yeah, I love Pickens. You're saying I'm high on him. I am very high on him. I think he's from a talent level, top tier in the NFL already, from just straight talent. And Pickett, I do think, is going to be the franchise quarterback. So, that offense was brutal last year. I think they take a big step this year. And I think Pickett can throw the ball, and he has a lot of chemistry with Pickens. So I think there's going to be a huge step forward for him this year. And then long term, I think he's, I have him at 19. He's a top 20 guy for me. Hopefully, throughout the season, I push him up even further here as some of these older guys kind of die off a little bit. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jordan, he had that Odell like catch last year, just to show you how
that was
how his hands are. Yeah, he's going to be a red zone threat, highlight reel, every game type of player. So I'm super excited for him.
Yeah, he has all the tools, man. He has elite athleticism. He has opportunity in that offense, and he has extreme talent.
Yep, everything you can ask for. Second year wideout. He came out and said
breakout candidate.
He said he's going to be a Pro Bowler this year.
I mean, would you be surprised? Would you be surprised if, say, everything goes perfect for the Steelers this year? Would you be surprised if we're talking about George Pickens in the conversation at the same point we're talking Garrett Wilson next year? Do you think he can reach? Is that his ceiling? Is he capable of that?
Yeah, I mean, probably not, but
not yet.
No, I don't want to say that. No, I think a lot of these older guys that we've talked about need to be out of the league for him to be top 10. I mean, you need to see some regression out of Hill, Diggs, Kupp, Adams.
I mean, to me,
but in terms of that next, in terms of that next wave, the Garrett Wilson, Olave,
Jahan Dotson,
JSN, Christian Watson, newest wave. The newest wave of wide receivers. I think he's, can be right there, but it's going to take some time because Pickett has to get to that level. You said, if all goes perfect. So to me, that means Pickett comes and just is a top, 15 quarterback. Then yes. Then
okay. Well, then realistically,
but realistically, I think his ceiling is probably top 15.
He finished at wide receiver 39 last year. Where do you see him finishing this year?
I mean, let's look at my redraft. I think I have him at 28, so top 30.
Okay.
And I think he could be all the way as high as a top 20 guy this year.
Yeah, I could see him. He's kind of someone to me that is just going to keep improving every year. And we're going to see him slowly climb up this ladder of the rankings. And, in a long-term aspect, I do consider him capable of a top 10. But no, you're right. A lot of those veteran guys got to be out of the league before he enters that tier. So,
yeah.
I think we covered enough on Pickens. Someone I'm pretty high on, and it's DJ Moore. Okay. DJ Moore, the number one wide receiver for the Chicago Bears.
Bears.
Oh, yeah. I have him at 17. You have him down at 20. You have him rounding out your top 20. I'm a little bit higher. And that's just pure Chicago optimism. Okay. Like, I understand Justin Fields doesn't throw the ball a lot. Okay. I understand the Vegas line has him at what we just looked it up not too long ago. Was it 2,800 or something?
Yeah.
That's not it's not many yards. So to expect DJ Moore to become some kind of showstopper, I don't know how I feel about that right now, but he's going to be the number one target for Fields. I'm hoping that he sees anywhere from 7 to 10 targets a game, and I'm just very hopeful that he's going to help the Bears take that next step. I mean, what's your gauge on DJ Moore right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge DJ Moore fan. I was the entire time he was in Carolina. And he's an incredible talent. He's maybe not in the best situation again in terms of like having a pure passer quarterback throwing to him. But if you can get him the ball, he can make a play. So I do expect Justin Fields to take a huge step forward. What does the ceiling look like there? Jalen Hurts. What do I think he makes? I hope that he realizes some of that. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think he can throw the ball. So he's got to prove it this year. I think he's been working on it a lot. I like Moore. I have him as my 20, my wide receiver 20 in Dynasty. And to be honest, like between Moore and who I have at 21 and you have at 18, Jerry Jeudy, between the two of them, they could very well be in very different spots of this rankings next year. Like Judy's already been like, I think Judy's an incredible talent. And if Russell and the Broncos kind of progress and knock off that disaster of a season they had last year, I think Jeudy has a way higher ceiling than the last 3 or 4, maybe 5 guys that we talked about.
Yeah.
Like I could easily I could see him ahead of Moore, Pickens, Watson, JSN, Metcalf, even Higgins. Like I could see him as my wide receiver 15 if I knew for a fact that that Russell was going to come out and kind of make it happen this year.
Yeah.
So
no, you're absolutely right. I mean, I have him down at 18, and that's just from the disaster of last year. And we'll see if they can recover from that. But no, you're absolutely right. Jerry Jeudy, if all goes well with Denver, this guy's gonna be really, really, really good, and he's gonna deserve a top 15 ranking in Dynasty because he's a young receiver and he should be their number one target. I mean, we're both pretty hopeful on Cortland Sutton. Hopefully, he doesn't die over there. But
I mean, like you just have Sutton. Like Sutton's another guy who is a great possession receiver. Everyone thought of him to explode. You said that he was your Cooper Kupp of the year last year.
Yes,
unfortunately, any kind of hype going into last season surrounding the Broncos, I was very high on Sutton. I was very lucky that I didn't stretch for him because I felt like people were kind of stretching around the draft time for him. And I was so lucky that I didn't grab him and Russell and then just nails on a chalkboard every Sunday as they were the worst offense in the league. I mean, they were so bad. Man. They were so bad. I can't imagine being an owner of them. So I was high on him. I wasn't as high as you on Sutton, but I was high on Sutton. And I mean, that was just such a disaster to watch that team every week.
Yeah.
But yeah, so expecting progress there. You have Sutton, who's a talented receiver, to go opposite of Judy. Marvin Mims, you bring in a young guy. You know, I'm excited to see what the Broncos do as well for next year. But anyways, I just wanted to talk about him for a little bit too. You know, I think we can wait on your number 20 for the start of next episode.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah, so this could be a good place for us to wrap up these ranks. What do you got to say?
Just to wrap it up, I was just going to kind of roll through everybody we just talked about here. From 11 to 20, I got Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, Drake London, Devontae Adams, DJ Moore, Jerry Jeudy, Christian Watson, and Jordan Addison.
Yeah, and I got Stephon Diggs, Drake London, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, JSN, Christian Watson, George Pickens, and DJ Moore. So that's our 11 to 20 dynasty rankings live from the Haba. We got just some lobsters this episode. And of course, check out our Twitter at Fantasy Roadshow. You got a little taste of why we call it the Roadshow. Ryan's out there grinding, putting in miles behind the windshield and getting to check out some cool cities. And hopefully we can, pump out some really cool content for you guys, some good food reviews, some cool things as he's traveling around.
And if you're listening on the podcast form, make sure you check out youtube.com/sportsethos. We have YouTube videos dropping along with every episode. So come check us out.
Yeah, absolutely. Sports Ethos. They're kind enough to let us hop on the YouTube channel. What's that music?
Sorry about that. That's my cell phone. I have our intro as our ringtone. That's what that is right there.
That's beautiful. I love that. I heard it in the background. I thought you were cutting me out, but yeah, Sports Ethos.
I'm not trying to put you out, man. Go
ahead. We're on the Sports Ethos YouTube channel. Check out the Sports Ethos website. We post our podcast daily on there as well. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It's a Fantasy Roadshow, baby. Buckle up.
Hell yeah. Buckle up.